Hi guys, I'm McGann, and welcome to another episode of There I Read It, where I'm going over the Harry Potter books for the first time ever in my life, chapter by chapter. And today we are on Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, chapter 10, which is called Mayhem at the Ministry. It's actually a very short chapter, but that's good because you guys hopefully won't notice this, but I've actually had a long break from this book. A lot of personal struggles and turmoils lately, but that's okay. We're rebounding back up. We're back on a rise, I think. I hope. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Why am I a wee now? Am I a wee now? Anyways, let me dive into my notes before I have a full-on emotional breakdown on camera, okay? Yeah, I don't even have a full page of notes today, which is unusual for me, but that's okay. We're gonna have fun anyways. So we have the whole Weasley party about to leave the campsite for the Quidditch World Cup, and I believe that includes all of the Weasleys except for Molly, and then there's Harry and Hermione there as well. And if you hear a little thunk, thunk, thunk in the background, I have a stupid aggressive cardinal at my bay window just like, come on, let me in. I don't know what it wants from me, but it just keeps tapping on the window like I'm gonna go out and feed it or something. It's not happening, buddy. But while they're leaving, they notice that the groundskeeper for the location of the Quidditch World Cup, Mr. Roberts, is like seeming super damaged. And Mr. Roberts was in previous chapters, as the groundskeeper of this location that they're having this huge, wizarding tournament. He is not a wizard. He is a muggle 100%. So they can't let him know all of this stuff that's going on around him. So they keep kind of neuralizing him like in Men in Black. So he's just kind of wonky brained at this point, and I hope he'll be okay, but I kind of feel like maybe he won't, and those wizards are not going to come back and check on him. Let's be real, wizards are jerks. But the Weasley party is trying to get to a port key so that they can go back to their, starting point where they ported in from. Man, the terminology for this sounds weird. I feel like I'm not getting it right. But we get a new name, I do believe. Otherwise, I just forgot it. But Basil of Baker Street. That feels right. A person named Basil is the keeper of the port keys. And he's sending as many people home as fast as he can. It's a whole big process and to do. And so the Weasley party gets back home and Molly is standing outside kind of pacing around just terrified. And I understand she was out there because she was worried. She was expecting her family to come back at that point. And, she had obviously heard about all the stuff that went down at the Quidditch World Cup. So I get why she's worried and why she's pacing around outside losing her mind, but couldn't someone have sent her an owl or, I don't know, a magical note or something? Like, there has to be a way to get in touch with people. I know this is the 90s before cell phones were really a common thing, but there has to be a way to do this, right? I don't like seeing Molly suffer. I do not. So Molly's rushing over and she's so relieved and she's, hugging on everybody and especially Fred and George. And she starts going into this tirade of, I thought I'd never see you again, and then my last words to you would be this fight that you didn't get enough points on your OWL exams. And I thought that was interesting. I thought that's a good teachable moment for anybody who is a parent. Because, I set the bar so low for my kids. I'm like, just pass. As long as you don't have like D's and F's and the school is calling me that there's a problem. Like, I don't care. Like, your mental health is more important than your grades. Like, go be happy. But just pass. That's all I'm asking. Because, I was the neurotic mess that was expected to have straight A's and study nonstop and do homework nonstop and do extra reading and extra credit and everything on and on and on and on until the pressure just cracked me and my brain spilled out the sides. And now I got the dumb. Anyways, minor personal childhood traumas aside, in the Daily Prophet, we are told about this reporter who penned a scathing article that is very anti-Ministry of Magic. Her name, I assume it's a her anyways, is Rita Skeeter. Or Rita Skeeter? And the name doesn't seem to flow very well together. Rita Skeeter. There, I think that feels right. And so Percy is all upset because the Ministry is his boo, and Arthur is all upset because he feels like he's getting the finger pointed at him. But Ron, Harry, and Hermione end up going up to Ron's room, and Harry tells them that he has this dream about Voldemort, but now he's not so sure that it was a dream, especially with all those Death Eaters appearing at the Quidditch World Cup like that. And Hedwig, who left around a week ago to go find Sirius Black and get advice for, what this dream was about and why Harry's scar was hurting, she's still not back yet. She is still out in the wild. No one knows. But with Arthur and Percy going back to work, Percy is complaining that he's getting all of these howlers at work. And apparently, they alluded to this in the first book, but never really covered it. If you do not open a howler, they explode. So if you don't get to it quickly enough, it explodes and it incinerates everything on your desk, and it's a real nuisance. So I like that they finally came back and explained that, because I remember they told Neville that, oh, you better open it or it's just going to be worse. I wonder how many howlers have killed people over the years. Another issue for another day. Then the book starts describing the Weasley Clock again, which I know they've done before. And that clock is like a different hand for each family member, and the times are different locations. So instead of the clock being like, oh, it's 3 o'clock, it'll be like George at school or something like that. And one of the slots for where a family member can be is mortal peril. And I have some questions for that, because I feel like Ron and Ginny both would have shown up in that section several times. Yet Hogwarts had to contact the Weasley family and bring them in when Ginny Weasley got abducted by the basilisk. Does that clock not work? Can you mask it? I mean, if you can mask it, what's the point of the clock? I don't know, but I have further questions about the usefulness of this thing, or I guess more or less the accuracy. But it turns out that Miss Rita Skeeter has found out about the missing person Bertha, who the Ministry has done nothing to do to find her so far. So it's another look at them. They're messing all this up. They don't even care that their people are missing. And everybody in the Weasley house is basically like, whew, thank goodness she hasn't found out about Winky yet, who had that wand that had made the dark mark up in the sky. And that turned into a conversation about house elf enslavement, which I know, I have no memory of that from any of the movies. So I'm interested to see where that's going to go. But I feel like they've brought it up enough times now that that is definitely going to go somewhere. And then there's mention of how Molly went shopping for all the kids while they were gone, and how she went into Harry's vault to get some gold. And I was curious about that, because when they did that a book or two ago, Harry was very, scared to have the Weasleys see what was in his vault. He did not want them to see how much gold he had compared to how much nothing they had. So I don't know if I would consider that character growth or a comfort level or just maybe a plot hole, but I don't see why Harry was not embarrassed to let Molly go into his vault now. I mean, not that he shouldn't trust her. I don't think for a second that any of the Weasleys would steal from Harry, but it's just he was so anxious about them seeing how much he had before, and now it's no big deal, let her go in my vault for me. It's a very strange contrast. And while the kids are packing for school, Ron has to pack this maroon velvet dress that has what he describes as a moldy lace collar. And that turns out to be his dress robes. But Molly also had to buy dress robes for Harry, and they are much nicer. They're almost black with just a hint of green. And she's like, oh, Harry, I thought that would make your eyes pop. And Ron's like, how come mine looks like trash? And Molly's like, well, yours had to be used, so I had limited options. And Harry feels kind of bad about money again. Which, I mean, I get it. That has to be really weird to be like, okay, yeah, you can do my school shopping. Now look how much money is in this vault. And buy me the nicest, newest things while your kids are getting the grossest, dirtiest, unpleasantest hand-me-downs. I understand why that's awkward. I don't know. It just seems like Molly didn't necessarily have to buy Harry brand new robes. And so she surely knew that what Ron was getting looked horrendous. So how is it that of all the things that have been hand-me-downs from, one son to the next, how is it that this ugly red velvet thing was the best she could do? Surely Fred and George and Bill and Charlie have all grown out of dress robes that she could, make something a little better happen here. Plus, they have already established that you can knit things without really having to know how to knit. You just enchant the needles. So couldn't you do the same thing with a needle and thread and fabric or sewing machine or something come on, Molly, just try. And finally, my last note here is how Harry is thinking about how he would split all of his money with the Weasleys, but he knows they'd never take it. And again, that was a complaint I had in earlier books where it's you're staying there for weeks. I mean, at least offer to pay for your own food or something. And there was never any sense that Harry got it, that was maybe a burden on them or a problem for them. And now he does. So I'm going to give Harry that credit here, that he seems to be evolving into a better, more empathetic person. So good job. Interesting chapter. Well, kind of interesting. I mean, it's kind of a filler chapter, but I think there's more to come, and there were a lot of little hints sprinkled in here. So we will see next week what is happening after this, and hopefully these kids are going to get to school before chapter 300. Anyways, guys, I'm going to leave you here. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, whatever you feel like doing. It's always appreciated. And we will see you next time, family members. Bye! Well, family members, we're almost done, but I want to invite you to hang out with me in some other places. I'm on Twitter and Instagram as my own personal self, and I have a Facebook page too, but I mostly just post photos over there. And sometimes people say, "Hey McGann, I want to mail you something. How do I do that?" Easy. Just click the About tab on my channel page, and my most current P.O. Box info will be right there. I also run another channel, The Family. It's really a hodgepodge channel where we might post anything. Oh yeah, and I also sell shirts and stickers and stuff with the Family and the Fangirl logos. If that is your cup of tea, I have a link in every description of every video. Finally, if you want to help out the Fangirl channel and make sure I'm putting out video essays for years to come, the best way you can help is by subscribing and watching more of my videos, whether they're new, old, whatever. Maybe even share one or two on social media, help spread the word. People who watch to the end of videos like you helps to tell the site, hey, this is a good video, we should recommend it to other people. So if you made it this far, leave me a comment of something like, hey, I made it to the end. Love ya. See you next time, family